Welcome to the Nerdvolution Show, where geeks and gamers rule the flow. From comic books to RPGs and every little thing in between. We break down tales of tech and lore, from retro games to future core. You'll hear the beat of passion's drum as every episode goes numb. Oh, it's a Nerdvolution ride, where trivia and laughs collide. Plug in your ears and take a trip with pop culture on a nerdy ship. We break down tales of tech and lore, from retro games to future core. You'll hear the beat of passion's drum as every episode goes numb. Oh, it's a Nerdvolution ride, where trivia and laughs collide. Plug in your ears and take a trip with pop culture on a nerdy ship. From sci-fi flicks to fantasy, we dive into each mystery. Dungeons crawl and dragons roar, in every episode there's more. So join us on this epic quest through fandoms that you love the best. We're here to bring the geeks unite in nerdy glory day and night. Oh, it's a Nerdvolution ride, where trivia and laughs collide. Plug in your ears and take a trip with pop culture on a nerdy ship.
Hi guys, welcome to the Nerdvolution podcast. I'm your host Todd Lancaster. My co-host Drew Kirksky could not be here today as he is dealing with some important stuff right now. But hope he gets to focus on that. But I'd like to introduce our special guest, Mr. Johnny3stripes. Welcome, Johnny.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Todd.
Yeah. So, one of my quick questions is because a lot of people see you on TikTok and obviously Instagram and all your other, fun adventures. And I've seen a few people ask, how many tattoos do you have?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how many tattoos I've had. About a year and a half ago, every time I started counting, I have ADHD, I lose count, and I just get bored with counting, and I'm like, you know what? I have more than 10. That's but no, it's like somewhere
Right now,
over
I'm on my
like
fifth one, so this is my most recent one.
okay.
Yeah, it's 3 arrows on it. Oh my,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere over 30, that's all I know. I just go. My tattoo artist, he's great. He's amazing. I love him. Half the time now, I don't even know what I'm getting whenever I go. I'll just send him like 3 or 4 ideas that I have, and he'll pick which one he wants, and that's the one that I'm
It's
getting.
like,
We
oh,
find
that one looks easy. We'll do that one for
yeah. Yeah, we just find a blank spot and put it on.
Fair enough. Honestly, that's awesome. But so like earlier, when I was getting everything set up, for like our intro for when we do things, like I said, I ran across, like I told you earlier, I ran across your Facebook page as a friend suggestion. So I clicked on it, just wanted to see if, look at it, hope that doesn't seem a little too weird,
Nah.
But I noticed that you're married and your anniversary is September 20th of um well, or not 20th, 21st. Funny thing is
Yeah.
I got married 2 years after you did, a day before you.
No way.
Yeah,
What are the odds of that?
exactly.
That's so cool.
But I love your content. So what made you want to do content creation?
Um, Honestly, it all started back 2020 during COVID pandemic. Everybody's stuck inside. I That was when I finally broke and downloaded TikTok. And I noticed that the videos, just kind of helped me get through the mundane, boring, stuck inside all the time kind of vibe of COVID. And as I was watching them, I noticed like they made my mood improve and I got less bored. And I was like, I can do this. Like I like making people laugh. I feel somewhat creative. I can make videos. So then I just started making videos that I thought were, kind of relatable or funny, and they started taking off, and that's whenever I started finding my community, and I realized that there's other people out there that are nerdy and as odd as I am, and that was all how it started was COVID.
Fair enough. So, do you have a dream collaboration you want to do at least at all?
No, honestly, I don't. I don't. Everything that I've done, I've never had a goal or like dream anything like that. Like dream like goal followers, nothing. Everything that I've done, I've just been loving and embracing every moment and taking them as they come. I've already met some incredible, amazing people. And honestly, there's a lot of people that if I did some kind of collaboration or deal with them, I would be like, that's my dream collab. That's what I've wanted this entire time. But no, I don't really have one specific that I could nail down.
Fair enough. All right. So, what made you come up with the name Johnny 3stripes, though? Obviously, Johnny being your first name, but the 3 stripes part is where I'm more curious.
Three Stripes is the iconic symbol for Adidas.
All
Um,
right.
I'm a sneakerhead. I love shoes. It's another weird quirk about me for some reason. Uh, 11th, 12th grade, I bought my first pair of Adidas sneakers and I fell in love with them for some reason. And that followed me the entire way through college. My junior year in college, then I started working at the local Adidas store just for the discount. Just for the discount. I had like three work study jobs at that time, and somebody said to me, "Hey, I started working at Under Armour and we get an employee discount." And I was like, do you think I could get one if I worked at Adidas? So I went to Adidas just for the discount and I got it 30% off. I also got free shoes every 3 months, one pair of free shoes. I ended up spending more than they actually paid me there. It was ridiculous,
It's
but
like you, as soon as your paycheck came out, you went to the bank, and then what came back, you're like, I got my
yeah.
money. Like, honey, go
Yes,
home.
sir.
Spend it on
Yes,
anything else.
sir.
You're like, nope,
And
take my money.
and that was the time my Twitter handle I switched to Johnny3stripes because then now I have like 50 pair of Adidas shoes and that's just part of me. And it's something a lot of people don't know. They think of Johnny3stripes, they think nerdy, dorky fandom stuff, and yeah, that's all from my shoe addiction.
So, okay, since we're both nerds, I'm gonna ask you this though. What is your opinion on Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner?
Honestly, it wouldn't have been my first choice,
Fair enough. Who
but I'm
who
excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I am.
who would have been your first choice?
I don't know. See, I don't when it comes to roles like that, I don't like big names.
Fair enough.
I want to see somebody have their break, like Tom Holland with Spider-Man. Like
Yeah,
I want to see like I like seeing a new face come to a character.
fair enough. Honestly, there is one actor that I would have liked, but even though he is a big name to an extent, Kevin McKidd. He,
Yeah, that'd be a good fit. That'd be a good fit. So what
but
what do you think? What was your reaction?
honestly, like just looking at him, like I love Nathan Fillion because I grew up watching Firefly with my dad. I grew up, watching a bunch of his acting, a bunch of his movies. I love his acting, but it struck me as odd to see him as Guy Gardner. I expected him more as doing either kill the voice for Kilowog or seeing him as
Mm,
an older version of Hal Jordan who is more seasoned into the role than everything else because Firefly and everything else. But
right.
since him as Guy Gardner, I'm excited because we get to see more of his comedic roles, like and everything. The only issue I had with it was like from what the angle that they show him using his ring during the trailer of Superman. Because I don't know why, but and it's the image that everybody uses whenever they post about him as Guy Gardner. It looks like he's sucking in his lip a bit. He looks like crap, I forgot the guy who played as Polka Dot Man, but with a bowl cut. Like he looks weird, completely shaven, like right there. But that's my opinion. So that's why when I first saw it, I didn't realize it was Nathan Fillion. And then I'm like, I was like, so they basically recasted Polka Dot Man into playing Guy Gardner. Okay, I can see it. And one of my friends was like that's Nathan Fillion. I'm like, no, it's not. So I looked it up. I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. That is.
Todd, I will never unsee that now. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So honestly, what's your are you excited because almost everybody's now all going crazy about it? Are you even though you're a happily married man? Are you happy that Tom Holland and Zendaya are finally engaged?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are a very cute couple. I don't know. I don't know if I'm more jealous of Tom or Zendaya, honestly. Um, but
You're jealous of both because they got each other.
right, yeah, exactly. No, they've been a great couple. I am honestly so happy to see it because I know so many people doubted their relationship. They just thought it was all for clout, hyping up Spider-Man, two
Exactly.
people from the same movie. Like that wasn't Hollywood
Uh,
impacting that, but you
that's
know,
been like Hollywood since like the 40s.
yeah. 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 So I'm very glad to see it happen. I love Tom. I love Zendaya. And, I'm very, very happy for them.
As I've made the joke with one of my friends, like one of my coworkers, because they asked me like, "Are you excited for Tom Holland and Zendaya being engaged?" I was like, "Do you want my honest answer or my bullshit answer?" Like, well, what's your bullshit answer? It's like obviously. Like, okay, what's your honest answer? I was like, well, honest answer. Okay, teenage me is jealous because Zendaya got with Tom Holland and is now engaged to him. Now, adult me, even though I'm straighter than a doornail, um, you know adult me's jealous of Tom Holland because now he's sleeping with Zendaya and I wanted to sleep with him.
Yeah. See, you get it.
Exactly. So like you said, you don't do big names, but if you could create, your either your own Spider-Verse or your own you know, Bat Family out of content creators or people that you've seen, who would it be?
Hmm. Batverse?
Yeah,
Man, that's honestly something I've never thought of.
fair enough.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Logan Paul could really pull that off.
Yeah,
Would like to see. I would like to know what he's like in real life.
fair enough.
Also.
Honestly, I heard that at one moment he's nice, and the other moments he's a complete and utter dick.
And I mean, honestly, him and Jake, they have built their entire fame and personalities around, being dicks. Um,
Originally,
and
it was just being stuntmen.
yeah, and part of me wonders how much of that like they have to put on as an act now.
Exactly.
Whenever that's what you're known for, you have to keep it up. Um, and that's just one thing I've always wondered, and I'd always like to know.
Yeah. So a lot of people are, excited for the, Beyond the Spider-Verse Part 2. Um, and obviously you're going to be excited for it. But, besides you, who would you want as to play as Hobie Brown?
Besides me,
Well, I've seen you
I'm
make the
so
comment quite a few times saying, and a lot of people agree with you saying that you could pull off Spider-Punk.
yeah. That's my dream Spider-Man role. I'm so glad that you said that. Uh, to play Hobie, man. I would honestly love to see. Do you know who the lead singer of Magnolia Park?
Yes.
Josh. I would like to see Josh
Honestly,
as
I can see
Hobie.
him pull it off.
He's got that punk vibe. I think he could do it. I would love
Battle
it.
of the Spider-Punks. So, honestly, what is your who is your biggest inspiration is what I meant for everything that you do.
My biggest inspiration, honestly, my biggest inspiration is literally all my followers out there and anybody that just feels alone. That's the kind of people that keep me doing what I do, making content. Uh, every now and then I get messages from kids, adults, people say that, they felt lonely, unnoticed, like there's nobody out there like them. And or that they're just like afraid to show who they really are, whether it's, somebody that's a closeted nerd or even closeted. And I just getting messages from people all the time. I've had people tell me that my videos pull them out of like, the darkness and make them feel less lonely, and that's why I do it. That's the main reason why I do it now. I love connecting with people, seeing people's comments, laughing, hearing how much like my videos make people laugh. But when I get down to it, it's the people out there that are struggling to either find who they really are or afraid to show who they really are. And if they can watch my videos and get a little bit of that, then that's why I keep making them.
All right. So, if I may ask a personal question, how did you meet your wife?
We actually met in college. We were in the same major, but had never really talked to each other before. And then a professor of ours had recommended both of us for this work study program where we were both in sociology courses, and it was one where we would go out into these homes and providers for people with special needs and would interview them to see if they got from the state what they think they needed, basically. And it was something that we had to go out with partners. So we kind of knew each other from classes, but never really knew each other. So we started going on interviews together and hit it off.
Right. So, is your girlfriend, or sorry, let me correct that. Is your wife a big nerd like you are?
No, no.
No?
She was never nerdy like me, never got into Pokemon, Spider-Man, anything like that, anything. Um, and that's been the beauty of it is like she never watched an episode of Pokemon before she met me.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, like most people would think that's like what are you doing? Like you guys don't have anything in common, but it was so beautiful not having anything in common because like I have all these worlds that I can show her, and she was willing to watch and pay attention. Like she plays Pokemon Go every day now with me. So like we went from her never seeing an episode of Pokemon, not knowing a single Pokemon other than Pikachu, to her playing every single day. And I mean she's still not a nerd like I am. And so, she's not
It's gonna take
getting
a million years, but she'll get there.
like she's not getting anime tattoos and dressing up as Spider-Man or anything like that, but no, she was never into that kind of stuff before, but she's fully into doing all that stuff with me, going to movies, and
She's
it's
willing to go
great.
along with the adventure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, honestly, who's your favorite Pokemon?
All right. I know a lot of people judge from it, but it's Pikachu. It's Pikachu. I know so many people are like, that's who the people that don't know Pokemon pick. Shut up. Shut your freaking mouth. I have an entire display shelf that's all Pikachu, like an entire bookshelf that's all Pikachu. My very first game was Pokemon Yellow, and that's the one, it came out whenever Red and Blue came out, but you don't get a choice of your starter. You get Pikachu. And in that game, little Pikachu follows you around and you can turn around and see his mood and everything. And I fell in love with the little guy day one back in 1998, 99, and he was my dude. It just turns out that he's the most popular Pokemon out there that everybody knows. So it's
Honestly, in my
Pikachu.
opinion, Squirtle's my favorite. So,
Yep. And I don't care. I don't care what people have to say about it. I'm
I
a
mean, hey, he's
PB.
your favorite. You don't have to justify yourself to anybody.
It's Pikachu.
That's awesome. Okay, favorite anime.
Favorite anime is Pokemon. As long as you can, I know most people don't consider it an anime, but I it's made in Japan. They make a dub version for it. Um, and I think consistently, It's it's the best anime out of all of them. Um, there's no show I think that has compared to it. I got into One Piece late, so I know a lot of people will say, "Well, One Piece has 1,000 episodes." I know it's good. It's good. It's just not my favorite.
Fair enough. Honestly, so like I would agree with you on Pokemon being an anime because, there's a lot of anime that we've stolen from Japan that we've bastardized into creating our own.
Yeah.
Like people in Wyoming, like yeah, they say like how you said, some people, because I'm from Wyoming, people say, Pokemon is not an anime. But then there's a lot of others that go, yes, Pokemon is an anime, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is not. Which, okay, fair. It's an American animation, but it's still considered anime.
Right.
But honestly, the one anime that I enjoyed, because even though it was heavily bastardized, was actually the original Speed Racer show. I
A lot of people do not consider that anime.
Exactly. But
Yep.
yet, if you listen to the special features, it actually is the grandfather of all anime because it was the second anime to come over from Japan to the United States and be aired.
Yeah.
And I own the entire complete series of it, thanks to my dad.
Wow. So you definitely a fan, definitely a fan.
Exactly.
And I mean, I gotta say the one that I love, and I mean, my favorite anime character. I'll say that my favorite anime character is Naruto from Naruto, and that's one that I only have my TikTok followers to thank for that because like on my lives and stuff, people would always come in, they'd be like, "You look like Naruto. You remind me of Naruto," and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to just watch this show just so I know what the heck they're talking about. I fell in love with it. I absolutely felt. He is so much like me. Like, forget about the looks. Naruto, the way he just
Naruto is just your spirit animal.
he is his energy, the way he loves ramen, everything. It's dope. I love it. I have to get the little guy. Every time I see him, I smile because he's my
That's
little dude.
awesome.
He's my little dude. So yeah, I mean my favorite anime, I always say is Pokemon, but my favorite anime character is Naruto.
Fair enough. So when's the Naruto cosplay coming out then?
Ugh, I do have a Naruto, like his jumpsuit, and of course a bunch of headbands. I have so many Hidden Leaf headbands. Um, it's been a long
Must be
time since I've
hidden
worn
for a
one in the
reason,
video
man.
though. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've worn it though.
Okay, now my bigger question. Okay, like how we're on the topic of, whether or not you'd consider anime. Do you consider Ben 10 an anime?
No,
No?
no, I would. I'm not like passionate about it. Where if somebody came up to me and they're like, "Ben 10's my favorite anime," I'd be like, "No, no, you need to pick a different." Like, I just don't think it is. I just don't think it is.
Fair enough. So, honestly, what, like obviously you do your content creating, you do a few cosplays here and there. Have you ever been ever auditioned for a actual role like for TV or movies?
No,
No.
no.
Would you ever?
I would. The biggest hindrance to that though is location. I live in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, and there's not many opportunities around here. And that's the only hindrance to that. I mean, I've definitely heavily thought about wanting to get into like voice acting and things like that because I think it would be so much fun to use my voice to bring a character to life and like put my own energy into a character. But no, I've never auditioned or anything like that.
All right. So, in your opinion, what do you like more, Marvel or DC?
Marvel,
Marvel. What's the reasoning behind that?
Spider-Man,
It's like screw the logical reason, just the biological reason. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Um, no, I mean it's hard. I don't. That's not throwing any shade on DC or anything like that. For the longest time, I really loved Superman, I was a huge Superman fan. Still am a huge Superman fan. So excited for the movie to come out. Um, but I think, and honestly, it might just be due to you know, trends and everything going on. I think the MCU has made brought bringing the main like comics to mainstream the way they brought it to mainstream, and they've done so well with the MCU, making it literally an entire universe, making it a multiverse. It's just so much fun to see where it's going now, and it's always been that way. I mean, Stan Lee, he learning more about him, if you learn about him, you understand like how great of a guy he actually was, and the kind of openness and just the vibe he brought to his characters, and wanted to make each superhero he made relatable to people. And I love that. And everything Stan Lee's done, I'm a huge fan of. Huge fan of. But I
Honestly,
mean, in general, all superheroes are dope. I don't care.
right.
Like people ask me my favorite superhero, obviously Spider-Man. I don't care. Superheroes are all dope. I love them all.
Do you have a favorite X-Men character besides Deadpool and Wolverine?
The Human Torch.
What the Human Torch be considered an X-Men character?
He's been in the comics with them.
Fair enough.
So I tell I use that anyway. I say.
Honestly, mine has to be Gambit.
So, what did you think of Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine?
I love the suit. I just do not like Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Oh,
I love Channing Tatum in his acting, but he ruined Gambit in my opinion.
yeah. I think
But like all else, everybody's asked me. So what do you think of Gambit? I love the suit. Do not like the actor. Like what's wrong with Channing Tatum? It's like nothing against him personally. I love his acting, love his work. He just does not fit the role of Gambit.
I'll be honest.
Brittany, no disrespect to you, buddy. But, again, he does not fit the role of Gambit, in my opinion, because that is not who he is.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I love when Deadpool pops off. He says, I'm sorry, but who the fuck is your dialect coach? The fucking minions? That nailed it because the dialect was so horrible that he kind of made me think that Donald Duck was playing with a puppet.
Yeah. No, I agree. I fully agree. Channing Tatum. I mean, I know I literally just said like I don't like big names, but if I had to pick one, it would like I would have never went with him. And I don't think he fit the character very well in my opinion,
So
but I loved knowing that he was supposed to originally be Gambit, and then they put him in that movie as Gambit, and then threw jokes at him basically for that whole like failed
the
role kind of thing.
which
That was gold.
Oh yeah, I agree. The
That
one
was
joke that
gold.
I liked that they put in there that because of that was that Channing Tatum says, "I don't even remember getting here. I don't know if I was born here or not." That was perfect. But there's only two. One of the I wouldn't really know if you would consider them big name. Have you ever heard of the show Baby Daddy?
Yeah.
Okay, the guy who plays as Ben in that show, the main character, the baby daddy. I would cast him as a young Gambit, even though he is around the same age as Gambit. But since, he could pull off that teenage look,
Yeah.
like I cast him as a teenage Gambit, and then Matt Bomber as adult Gambit.
I like that.
That's who I would have casted.
I like that.
Like besides Matt Bomber being Superman, I honestly think he got the charm, he got the look to play Gambit.
Yeah.
So honestly, but there's also one thing that I read, like, a while back before Deadpool 3 came out, and it actually blew my mind about the X-Men, was that so you have the Eternals and then you have the Deviants. The X-Men are actually descendants of Deviants, while the um, humans are descendants of the Celestials. I read that somewhere and I'm like, that's that's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, that's I've never heard that.
Yeah, here, let me see if I can find it so I can pull it up and read it.
Wow.
Oh, look, he exists. Baby, I'm back. I'm back. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You're fucking Clyde.
So here, so it says, according to Marvel, mutants themselves are a form of excess deviation in the genetic terms. Like it means likely, it's likely this means humans and deviants intermarried in prehistoric times, introducing deviant genes into humanity.
Wow. Yeah, that's new to me. That's
All
new
right,
to me.
give me 1 second. But yeah, no, honestly, that is like one of the most interesting things that I read and everything. Like, honestly, so, you know, a lot of people hate the Eternals movie, my dad actually liked it. I liked it. What was your opinion on it?
The Eternals?
Yes.
Um, I I thought it was kind of boring. It seemed like kind of like a little bit of a standalone, but I feel like it's gonna play a huge role, I feel like coming up, and I think it will have its place, and I think people are going to understand and respect it a lot more here, as things in the MCU start to play out.
I
Just like Shang-Chi, just like Shang-Chi. Um, Decent movie. But I'm not one of those people that hated on them just because it wasn't like the Avengers, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Honestly, I can see that. Honestly, the one movie in my opinion that was so boring, but it got an Oscar. Everybody loved it, but there's actually two. And they're in the same, they're they're in the same universe and everything. And it's the very first Joker movie. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love his acting, but I don't think he should have been Joker. And then the only other movie that actually put me to sleep, even though I wanted to watch it so bad, was uh Robert Pattinson's The Batman.
oh, dude, I loved the Batman.
I loved it too. Like I went back recently, like right after, I fell asleep through, I rewatched the movie, like from beginning to end. But because of it being 3 hours and everything, this was when it first came out on Max. I'm like, I'm gonna put it on. I put it on and I just sat there, like, watching the movie because in my opinion, like, it started out so slow
Mm-hmm.
that by the time the action rolled around, I was already asleep.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I
but
wake up to hearing a gunshot and I look around and you just see Carmen Falcone just standing there holding out the gun. It's like, what happened? What did I miss?
honestly, I feel like it's a movie that a lot of Batman fans weren't prepared for because it was so much different than like The Dark Knight and like it wasn't high action right away. It's one that I really feel see that's one that my wife she really liked it and I feel like it's a good movie for people that aren't into superhero movies because it was a superhero movie. I mean, it's Batman. He's
Yeah.
one of the best superheroes ever, like one of the most famous superheroes ever. But it was also like a crime mystery kind of movie also. So like, people that are into like, Law and Order, CSI, that kind of stuff, like it was very like a crime, like a mystery kind of movie. And it was just very like dark and mysterious and a big switch up from the original Batman movies.
Oh yeah, honestly, that's the one thing I love about, movies because I want to be a cinematographer. I want to be a film director. That's the one thing I love about movies. It's always not what everybody expects. The
Yeah.
one issue I have with, and it's not the movies per se, it's more of the people, the fans, I should say, or the critics. Because of The Dark Knight, everybody anticipates Batman to any Batman film, whether it be like the Ben Affleck Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman, heck, whoever the new Batman Brave and the Bold movie coming out. whatever it is. Hell, even the Batwoman TV show when that came out, you know, everybody is highly anticipating and excited to see that. They almost everybody was excited to see those. But because they did not match the energy or match to the Dark Knight, everybody was like, "Oh, it's just Batman. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just Batwoman. It's not." Or they'll be like, "Okay, cool. It's great. It's Batman. Yeah, whoa." As soon as it doesn't start out the same way or doesn't seem to have the right energy, it's okay. Turn off. Or
Yeah.
here I'm just gonna play on my phone
Ah,
while the
yeah.
movie's going on. The Dark Knight, yes, in its own right, was a masterpiece. But they put it so high up in like high, so much high stakes that everybody's gonna get disappointed and feel like it's gonna crash for
I
any
agree.
future Batman film.
I agree. It totally messes up people's expectations for any other Batman anything.
Exactly.
Um, and like, I mean, that's just the beauty of, remaking superheroes and recasting is they get to be different that time. Each Spider-Man's been different. Each live action Spider-Man's been different.
Exactly.
And I love that. I love that. I don't want a carbon copy of the last one.
Honestly, the one like Batman thing that I know everybody is always excited for, whenever it came out, like it didn't matter how crap the movie could have been, it didn't matter how low it could have gotten. Everybody was always like, like I said, like all the Dark Knight stuff is always, like because of the Dark Knight, everybody expects their expectations for every Batman movie to be like way up, like up here. The only one that nobody ever did that with was Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Like it could be, hey, look, we have a new Batman game. Kevin Conroy's doing the voice of Batman. Obviously, Mark Hamill's doing the voice of Joker. It's like, okay, well, what is it? Well, it's a choose your own adventure Batman game. Everybody's gonna lose their mind. But then, for example, okay, we could do it where, oh, look, we have a new Batman game. Okay, who's the voice of Batman? Well, we have Johnny 3stripes. Okay, cool. Who's the voice of Joker? Oh, we have Todd Lancaster doing the voice of Joker. Okay. And then, everybody's like, oh, it's not Kevin Conroy, or oh, look, it's not the Dark Knight. Bye. You know.
Yeah. 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 I agree.
But honestly, so what is your biggest hope to, or yeah, your biggest hope for 2025 since it's basically still the new year.
So, do you mean personally,
Both.
like with my content,
Both.
with the world?
All of it. I want to hear them all. Um, Continue with what you were saying.
Um, my goals for 2025, honestly, I just hope to see my community grow. It's such an amazing community that I've already, I feel like I don't really niche down my content. I mean, a lot of it's nerdy, but I'm not specific to Pokemon or Spider-Man or Zelda or anything. So, I mean, I have people, across the globe, so cool, that are just all into all kinds of different things. And I just want to see that continue to grow and see all these people continuing to, you know, express themselves and become who they are. And I feel like that's absolutely great. If I had to go anywhere with my content or just from a creative perspective, I think one thing that I haven't done yet would be like any kind of acting or voice acting. I haven't done yet. I've done stand-up comedy. I've done some stuff with music. I love that. I guess part of my ADHD brain, I want to do it all.
Fair enough. So honestly, you honestly does your family support everything you do?
Absolutely. My family has been very supportive. My mom, she watches the videos whenever they pop up, or she'll join my lives when she can. Um, it's something they don't necessarily get and I mean that just is what it is. But I could do literally anything, and my family will support me. I guess if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. So, uh, so I'm trying to think of another question to ask. Having ADHD is hard.
Tell me about it, dude. I'm sure you have a million questions, and you'll think of them as soon as we're done. That's the way it
Right?
goes. That's the way it goes.
Exactly.
Um,
But
but I mean, well, speaking of family, I've my brother is probably one of my bigger supporters. He's gone through the nerd train like me. He has all the same nerdy fascination and love and stuff that I do, but we're like the same but different, if that makes sense. Like we both love Pokemon growing up. My favorite two starters were always Pikachu, Charmander. He loved Squirtle and Bulbasaur. Uh, and just everything we were the exact opposites with. And that was such a great dynamic growing up. And he's been a great supporter of mine. That's why our podcast is always very very exciting. It's exciting because we'll get into a topic, whether it's video games or whatever, and it'll be a video game that we both love, but we're arguing back and forth, screaming at each other
or the
about different
strategy of how
opinions
to
that we
play it.
have. Yeah, and it's great, and I love having that kind of support. But the most, I guess I want to say surprising thing about the support that I've found is just the people around the world. Because I grow up in a very rural community. There's not many people around here like me. Even my brother, who is a nerdy geek like me, is bigger into like the main layer things. Like he's a bodybuilder and stuff like that. But it was just mind blowing to me to see how many people around the world there really are like me. And that's the cool thing is being that person for those people that feel like there's nobody else out there like them. And they see me and they're like, cool,
I'm not the only
cool.
one.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So,
So, is there any plans for the future of starting your own family at least? Sorry if that got too personal. It's just,
dang,
I just thought I'd
that's
ask.
that's the question. That's the question. Um, Plans, nothing in concrete. My wife and I, we talk about kids all the time. When we have kids, blank. When we have a son, this or that. We have two amazing fur babies and we absolutely love them. We just bought a bigger house in case the family grows. Um, and it's one of those things we don't not want kids. We want it to happen, just don't have a plan on anything
You don't
anything
have
coming
anything
out of
set
it.
in stone yet.
Yeah. It's a God's plan kind of thing. It'll happen when it happens.
Right. All right, Johnny. One question that I've been kind of thinking about is how old are you, if I may ask?
All right, if you had to guess, if you had to guess.
Honestly, I'd say about if around 20, 25, 26.
That's not a bad guess. I'm 32.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm 23, so
Yeah, I've always looked a lot younger than I am. And then I mean my childish young demeanor definitely goes along with that. I mean, I feel like I will be carded for the rest of my life. I still sometimes I've been carded like well into my 20s for buying video games that were, supposed to be 18 plus, and it's
GTA 6
wild.
rolls around. I'm sorry, sir. We need your card.
Yep. I mean, I get people all the time. Like I'll make jokes about, like a millennial joke or, about a show from the 90s, and people will be like, "Boy, you ain't a day over 20. You don't know." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm
Dude, I
12 years
grew up
over
watching
20.
that. The hell you mean?
12 years over 20." But yeah, 32.
All right. So, okay, we like how you made the comments about shows coming out in the 90s. or that were around in the 90s, like Voltron, obviously, Silverhawks and stuff like that. What is your opinion on them trying to make a live action movie for Voltron and and the Thundercats?
Oh,
Because I heard that they're in the making of doing that, and they both want Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill's supposed to be playing Lionel and Lance.
yeah. See, I love live action recreations, but what I want to see more of are, instead of recreating like the same exact storyline that we've seen in live action, I want to see, take Voltron or whatever it may be and give me a new story with it. Like the same, like we all know what happened in the previously. Let's continue on with the live action like nothing's changed. You know what
Basically,
I
make it
mean?
like the next generation.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see that. I would agree. Honestly, that's what I kind of thought was going to happen when they introduced Voltron Legacy or Legendary Defenders on Netflix. I thought
Mm.
that was supposed to be like a continuation off the '80s show, but and then when I watched it, I was like, this is just a reboot.
Yeah, yeah, I don't want a reboot. That's whenever Lion King did the
Yeah,
live action Lion King. I was so excited, and it was just literally the exact same movie. Still really cool, but
no.
I wanted to see something different. Now, when they did Mufasa, that's what I've been wanting. I want a different story in the live action.
So
I'm hoping that's what's coming up with Lilo and Stitch.
exactly. So the one thing that I liked about the live action Lion King was James Earl Jones reprising his role as Mufasa.
Yeah, and he
That
nailed it. He nailed it. That
the
was so
only
cool.
issue I had, like the only issue I had with any of the live action movies, it wasn't, I'm not a huge Melissa McCarthy fan, but obviously, I liked her in Little Mermaid, even though they took out Chef Lou. Chef Lou is awesome, but yeah, the one movie because it's so close to my heart is Aladdin, and I hate the live action Aladdin
Why?
because it doesn't feel right to me.
Okay.
Because of the fact that that was like one of the very first movies I watched growing up with one of my best friends before they passed away.
Hmm.
And me and her would sit there for hours just talking about, like, if we had, if we were in the shoes of Aladdin and Genie. Like, okay, yeah, no offense. Like I said, I love the movie Aladdin, but Aladdin's wishes were selfish. Think about it. He wished, like, okay, yeah, and I even made the comment, technically Aladdin Genie owes Aladdin a wish, because if you watch all the Aladdin cartoon movies, you have Aladdin, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, and Aladdin King of Thieves. Well, in the third one, you meet Aladdin's actual father, who is the King of Thieves, meaning Aladdin's a prince, so therefore Genie owes Aladdin a wish. I'm not wrong on that.
No, you're not.
But okay, let's take that out of take that away. Honestly, in my opinion, like me and my best friend would just sit there for hours and we would talk about how Aladdin's wishes were selfish because he wished for the to lie to Jasmine, wish and just to technically make her fall in love with him. Wish Genie's freedom, which that part was not the selfish one. But basically his main two wishes technically were, selfish wishes, honestly, because he was not the only poor person. He's seen everybody else struggling. Why not wish for everybody to, have a full stomach or not be in poverty or have the money or have, yeah, okay, I get
Yeah.
like when he's coming through town, he's throwing gold at, all the poor people for them to have the money, but that doesn't necessarily help them out in the
Right.
long run.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, yeah, okay, like the only thing that I thought was interesting was, the whole, song Speechless from the new one. That was a good, but honestly, just the casting, in my opinion, and at the same time, because it's so, like, they even released it, like, I think a year or two after Robin Williams passed away for the Aladdin movie. And that's where it hurt the most, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is why I'm not a huge fan of the live action.
I get that. I get that. That makes total sense.
Honestly, even though I haven't seen the new Mufasa movie, from I just want to see them incorporate. Like I don't know if you've seen it yet, obviously, but there's in the storyline. Turns out Sarabi was Scar's crush and Scar's love. And that is part of the reason why he hates Mufasa, because Mufasa, when he got chosen as king, okay, Scar was like, you know what, you're an outsider, you are considered family to my family. Cool. Okay, you're king now. Okay, then what the hell? But I will accept it because again, you're my best friend. And then
Yeah.
when Mufasa had to pick a wife, he picked Sarabi. And that's what caused Scar to get even more mad, to cause the stampede of whether, because there's multiple iterations where it was the water buffalo, like how what, and then that the same kind of stampede that killed Mufasa, but instead of killing Scar,
Mhm.
he obviously just gave him the scar. He
Right.
attacks a baby water buffalo. Okay, he got the scar from a mom attacking him, defending her baby. And then there's also the one where he was attacked by the hyenas, but then killed the hyena leader, and that's why he became the leader of the hyenas. Okay, there's three interpretations of how he got that scar, besides, the one obvious one that everybody assumes happened, where he got in a fight with Mufasa. Mufasa, basically did his tiger swipe at him, fucking scars his face. Okay. I just want to see them incorporate oh look, Mufasa falls in love with Sarabi, and now Scar's pissed off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
have you seen, what is your opinion on the Sonic movies, if I may ask?
I love them. I was so happy. I was so nervous that they were going to mess up that movie so bad. Whenever the first Sonic movie came out, first of all, whenever they first showed the trailer and Ugly Sonic came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh. This this is gonna be another Mortal Kombat tragedy," because all the Mortal Kombat movies were awful. Like we up until this point, we have not had very much luck with movie adaptations of video games. And they announced Sonic, and I was like, "Oh boy. Oh boy." And then they showed Ugly Sonic, and I was like, "No.
They
No,
ruined
no,
it.
they can't do this." And then they decide to change, and they're gonna make Sonic look more like Sonic. But I was still nervous. Uh, I went and I loved the first movie. Absolutely love the first movie. It was so great. Second one came out, and it was probably my favorite out of the three. Literally whenever I saw like the blue, yellow, and red flashes going around, like Sonic
Yeah.
Heroes kind of thing, like I got goosebumps. I was like, this is it. This is it. The third one came out. The third one was hilarious. It was great. My only complaint about the third one, which isn't a real complaint about the actual movies, I wish it had more Shadow in it because that's my dude. I love Shadow. Shadow and Knuckles. Shadow and Knuckles are my two dudes, and I love them. But I was very, very, very happy with the Sonic movies.
Yeah, I honestly can agree with that. Honestly, I actually like, because I grew up, watching the Mortal Kombats. I like the originals, mainly the very first one, but I did think it was an interesting take, like how you said earlier that you want to see, different stories and different takes on, certain things. I think the
Mhm.
newest Mortal Kombat was an interesting, different take on the whole Mortal Kombat aspect. Because think about it, in the first one, all you see is like maybe like one or two of the realms, well, three if you include, Earth, you know, as battlegrounds.
Mhm.
But then in the newest one, you get to see multiple like locations from the video games to fight. Okay, cool. The only one I am scared to see the second one that's coming out, because did you hear who they casted as Johnny Cage for that second one?
No.
Carl Urban.
Ah.
Yeah, the guy who plays as the Executioner in Thor Love and or Thor Ragnarok, and he
Yeah.
plays as Billy Butcher in The Boys.
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, they have him as playing as Johnny Cage. It's like, oh God, I'm scared. Because he's
Yeah.
not as young as he used to be. like I always gave my friends crap because they'd always give me crap and tease me because I always like in my head because of my ADHD I like to fan cast and like when I'm walking I'll make a movie script while I'm walking, but I won't write anything down. I'll just and then I'll come home and then I'll just start typing it up.
Hmm.
And one of my friends made the comment like, "So Todd, who would you cast as Johnny Cage?" And so I was like, "Do you really want to know?" They're like, "Yeah." It's like, "Okay, are you a fan of WWE at all?"
Yeah.
The Miz. The Miz has the look and
Yeah.
the attitude.
Yeah.
I would cast The Miz as Johnny Cage.
That's a that's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
Exactly, especially his when he was thinking he was in he was like the biggest hotshot in Hollywood. It, like
Yeah.
back in like 2013, 2014, around that time.
Yeah.
Perfect fan casting right there.
That's a good one.
Like I honestly, but I like how, like I said, I like how it's a new story and a new adaptation because again, there's never been a character known as Cole Young in the Mortal Kombat games. So, and since it's supposed to be about him and his family, that's what I like about it. The only concern I have is now if they were to introduce Stryker, who would play Stryker?
That's a good question. I don't with a casting like that as Johnny Cage, I couldn't even make any prediction on who they would bring in. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what do you expect? Who would you put in there?
Honestly, that's a hard choice because honestly, either Alan Richson because he's got the build, he's got the look, and he's got the acting chops, and he's got the attitude. But
Yeah.
honestly, because of them casting Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, I don't know. The only thing that I've ever wanted to see more than anything is have Carl Urban, which he technically he can't play in the MCU again. Well, technically he could, but it would make no sense. Would be see him as the Wolverine.
Yeah.
But honestly, I so what is your favorite video game?
Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
Honestly, I was playing that game on my 3DS one time, and the only part that I kept getting stuck on was defeating the giant snail thing in the I believe it was the whale's mouth when you were trying to save the princess.
Yeah.
I got stuck on fighting that thing so many times. Like I had the Hyrule shield, I had the sword. Obviously I was still technically young Link, but
Yep.
again, I saved the princess. It's just went, but you had to kill the thing before you could save yourself.
Right.
I
Yep.
could, and yeah, I'd hop on the thing and then start shooting, running around to avoid the thing, hitting it with my slingshots, and then I'd run up and slash at it with my sword whenever it was on its back, and like I would never get it past its first heart. I would always die.
Yep. Yep. That was my favorite game of all time. It's the first one that I ever played on GameCube. And I fell in love with that. Fell in love with the entire Zelda fandom. I mean, got the Triforce tattooed on me for life now. It became an entire personality for me. I loved it so much.
All right. So honestly, I get told to ask this question a lot, by a few people that I know. But what is mental health like? What does mental illness or mental health mean to you?
That's a loaded question.
It
That's a
is.
loaded question. Um, Mental health. I have personally learned so much the importance of mental health. Growing up, high school, stuff like that, toxic masculinity, people would say mental health is just as important as physical health. Bullshit. No, it's not. I would laugh at that and say it's definitely not. Go lift some weights, you'll feel better. But as I got older, I realized mental health, it really is an equilibrium You need mental health to be mentally healthy, to be healthy in general. I worked at a psychiatric hospital for a little bit. Um, and I see in the world how people are hurting mentally, and people that have been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and I just want to see the world happy, and to promote, having self-care and doing what's good for you. And that's one of the big reasons I promote Be You, They'll Adjust. To be yourself. Life's too short to not be you. It seems miserable. Um, yeah, mental health is huge to me.
Fair
Huge
enough.
advocate.
Well, that's all the questions I had. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, so you say you want to be a director, a film
Yes.
writer. What is like your dream, your like your debut movie, your big Spielberg moment? What movie would it be? What kind of movie would it be?
Honestly, either because I'm always like, thinking of stuff like in the bigger picture, in the bigger aspect. It might be like that's like actually a pretty good question because like I've had three ideas of one being a love story, which I actually got permission from one two actual one of them, like two famous artists, one of them being Ruben Ruben Gray. He sings the song Lifeline. He was on British Got Talent, and he wrote a
Mhm.
song for his girlfriend at the time. I don't know if they're married, I don't know if they're still together, but it's called Lifeline, and it's a really good song. It's basically saying that, even though he understands that he screwed up and he broke her heart, he would like a second chance.
Mhm.
So, I might do a love story with that. And then the other singer was Alex Ryback. He does the Czech voice of Hiccup from, How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay.
And he actually has a song in the second one. It's um like I don't know. Are you a fan of the How to Train Your Dragon movies?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay, so the song Into a Fantasy
Hmm.
from the second movie.
Yeah.
The guy who sings that is Alex.
Oh, okay.
And I texted him on Instagram one day, asking him if I could use, a couple of his songs, for, a film project. He's like, as long as it's nonprofit, as long as you don't, because if there's profit, obviously I have to give him some because royalties.
Right. Yeah.
But as long as it's a nonprofit song, I'm more than welcome to use it. Or nonprofit song, nonprofit film, I'm allowed to use it. Just send me the product when it's done. And I would be using Into the Fantasy or his other song, Fairy Tale.
Hmm.
Both of them are like my favorite songs by him. And honestly, so like either like it would be like a super like an action movie, a comedy movie, or a love story. Honestly, that's where like my brain, like with my ADHD, it's stuck because I'm stuck between all three because I like to be comedic and I like to be funny and joke around even through the dark times and even through the rough
Yeah.
times. I like to joke around.
Yeah.
Most people like, you obviously get it. Most people
Yeah.
kind of find it hard to believe because like there will be times like I'm at work and like one of my coworkers will say something so depressing that happened and like I know it hurts. I because one of my coworkers made a comment saying that or when it came down to it, actually like this year last year my grandma died. And one of my coworkers were like, "Oh Todd, I'm so sorry." And I look at them and I don't know why, but my brain immediately shot to it's okay. At least she can't control me anymore. And like, wait, what? I'm like, and like, Todd, your grandma's died. I was like, I know. I don't know why I said that. I even said that to my aunt, and my aunt was closer to my grandma than my mom is.
Oh man.
Yeah, and my aunt's like, Todd, you don't say that. So then, I was joking around with my grandma's husband, because my girlfriend made a comment because like my girlfriend loves ducks because me and my and everything. Or let me correct that. My wife loves ducks. Okay. And that's like one of her favorite animals that she wants as a pet. So I made the comment, I was like, my grandma has a duck. And so she's like, can we have one? I'm like, let me go talk to her husband. So I walk up to her. I was like, and he doesn't like being called grandpa or at all. So I was like, "Hey Tracy," he's like, "What's up?" I was like, my wife here wants one of the ducks. He's like, "Sure, go ahead, take one of the mean one." I was like, "Okay." So I look at her, I was like, "Hey, yeah," he said we can take the mean duck. She's like, "Todd, we're at a funeral. No, why'd you say that?" It's like I'm trying to make light of the situation.
Yeah.
She's like, "Todd, you're hurting." I'm like, "Yes, I know, but I want to make light of it." So like I said, whether it's through the dark times to make things seem like everything's gonna be okay, even though I know it's not, or just to be funny. I like to be comedic. I'm also a
Dude.
sucker for romance and love because, like everybody finds it weird that I watch them. The one series that I watched from beginning to end of the love stories was the movie the After series. It's actually a pretty good series. It has the young Voldemort in it, when the guy who played as Voldemort in Half-Blood Prince, in the flashback scene where Dumbledore met him at the orphanage, has him in it as the main guy love interest. And I like I said, I'm just a sucker for romance because I even told my wife before when we got married, even though she didn't let me, I was going to do the a scavenger hunt as a type of proposal to lead it all the way to where we first met, and that's where I would propose.
I
Like
love that.
I had that idea since I was about 5 years old for a way to propose. But, and then, almost everything has to have some action in it. Like, so honestly, I might either do all three, but, if I had my own Spielberg moment, I I would want to at least incorporate something of those three.
I like it. I like it. And that whole comic relief thing, dude, don't ever let that die. Always be the light in a situation.
All
One
right.
of my favorite quotes is, if you can't see the light, be the light. And people might not always understand it or appreciate it in the moment, but they will. I promise you that.
All right. But I do actually have one more question. So, is there a way, that our viewers or, people like who see this could contact you and find and just get to know you, talk with you, and, you know, just message you at all?
Yeah, Johnny3stripes on all platforms. Um, I do my best to go through my messages and respond to comments and everything when I can. So, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok before it gets Thanos, Snapchat, Johnny3stripes. Get to know me.
All right. That's all we had.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being on, Johnny.
Be you, they'll adjust.
All right. All right, guys, that was Johnny3stripes. Go follow him on Instagram, TikTok, all his platforms that he said. Go follow him. He's an amazing guy. He's a great person. He's funny. He is such the light of the party. So again, thank you. Please follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and please subscribe, like, comment, do all that. It means a lot to us because, once we get to 100 views, we're going to do our very first live stream. Once we get to 1,000 views, we'll start doing members, moderators. We might do giveaways. We're still working out kinks, but please subscribe. It'd mean a lot to the podcast, and just do everything you can. But again, hope you guys have an amazing day and nerd out.
The light goes dark, the episode's done, but the nerdy vibes have just begun. We dissected plots and characters too, from Marvel to DC and all we love true. Nervolution signing off the air. Thanks for joining, we'll be back. Fandoms unite, we take our stand. Debates and laughs and geeky delight. Tune in next to Star Trek, we explore the realms of fantasy and sci-fi galore. Gaming, comics, and anime too. Our passions ignite, our hearts renew. Nervolution signing off the air. Thanks for joining, we'll be back. Fandoms unite, we take our stand. Debates and laughs and geeky delight. Tune in next time, day or night. We geeked out, debated with flair, embracing diversity hand in hand. From classic tales to new releases too, our love for nerdom shines right through. From cosplay to conventions we thrive, community strong, our spirit survives. We share, we discuss, we create and play in the world of nerdom every single day. Nervolution signing off the air. Thanks for joining, we'll be back.